right. In the deep end. What happens after TikTok ban? As you may have heard, in fact, I think this conversation even started during or
Oh yeah.
mid-campaign that he was planning on banning TikTok because Trump, that is, because he thought that Chinese were spying on him or Americans. I I don't know what the evidence behind that is. I don't know it, but
Yeah,
so
there's a
that's what he
whole
thinks.
there's a
I'm
whole
sure there's
thing behind
research.
that.
I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some. I don't know. I just assume if you're using social media, your data's out there. People are spying on you to some extent. Companies are spying on you, and you're being advertised with that information. Advertised too because of the information. So, anyways, he's going to ban TikTok, which is the pretty much the number one social media for at least young people, and it's going to be banned in the US, so we'll still be able to use it. But
Oh
let's
yeah.
there's a wee bit of discourse about what that could mean for us. So the app will basically it will no longer get updates essentially. So
Yes.
any updates that come out of China will not come through, and it's probably not great because if you don't update apps, they tend to have security risks. So not
Mm-hmm.
great. But a lot of young people have already started to look for TikTok alternatives, and the two that they're looking at are also Chinese-owned apps. So if it was a
What a
war on
surprise.
China,
What a
he's
surprise.
failed spectacularly. And some of the things I've heard people say is also the idea that they don't care if they're being spied on as well. And I guess it's that idea of not knowing what they can do with your data or what they might do with your data. And so
Mm.
people are a bit like, and they're young. Like, I'm a little bit more cautious, but if you're young and on the internet, it's probably a little bit less so.
Well, I mean, I don't to be fair, I don't think a lot of adults understand what these things mean to even teach children how to think critically or like know how to engage with it. I also imagine, with parents often unable to be around all the time, like trying to be able to monitor and manage the interactions kids have on that is going to be also another complicated relationship. So like, yeah, it's definitely not a one like there's one thing that's a problem, one thing's going to help. I imagine it's quite a complicated scenario, really.
Yeah. So I guess I'll run through this wee bit. So how will users be affected? TikTok's 170 million users in the US will likely still be able to use the app because it already downloaded on their phones, experts say. But over time, without software and security updates, the app will become unusable, and that's essentially there'll be no bug fixes. As your phones get updated, there'll be no workarounds with phone updates. The app won't get updated. Things won't start to work. It'll just become an unusable app. Crashes, that sort of thing tends to happen over time. Some users have begun posting TikTok videos instructing others on how to use virtual private networks or VPNs, which mask an internet user's location as a way to circumvent the possible ban. I would love to know whether or not those work or how successful they are. Because I
Oh
know
yeah, no, they work
VPNs,
100%.
do they work
No,
with
that
apps?
that's just yeah, works with everything because
Oh.
essentially the way a VPN works is that it's if you think about your computer having a mailbox, like an address, it
Hmm.
essentially masks that address. So any of the information that's coming through can't get filtered by any of the regional or, national things that it would normally get routed through. Like it's a whole tech thing, but yes, basically they work, but and I mean, like, let's be real. There's a reason that if you watch a lot of YouTube, I'm sure you've heard of quite at least two VPN companies. I'm not going to say them unless they want to pay us,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm sure you know the two that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
definitely VPNs work, and they're definitely making a lot of money off these
Well,
stupid things.
they might just start making a little bit more. Content creators who have
Mm.
built businesses from their TikTok followings are preparing for the worst. Nadia Okamoto, who has 4.1 million followers and founded August. Oh, it's called August. A menstrual products brand said TikTok helped her business grow organically through viral videos. A TikTok ban could force her and other small businesses to spend more on marketing and raise their costs. It's very stressful, she said. If TikTok goes away, we'll be okay, but it is going to be a hard hit. Here's a quick question for the chat. How many of you guys found BHN through TikTok? Because I know Pat was posting on there.
Me.
Um,
It was
how
me. I
when
found them through TikTok.
a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, about
During
a
the
year ago.
election, that's how I discovered
Oh, there you
them.
go.
Like, if it wasn't for the election and TikTok, I wouldn't have come. I might not be here right now.
I'd be interested to see how many people have come. I found it through. Here you go. Calvin says they found it through TikTok.
Yeah,
Peter says he found it
exactly.
through TikTok. Me before I left in Feb. So there you go. So
Yeah,
the algorithm is
exactly. A lot of
pretty
us
good.
migrated around. Well, because that's the thing is, I know that boys did notice like a quite an increase around that time.
Yeah,
Because I know Spider Hoof, Jordan Rivers, BHN. That was pretty much my TikTok algorithm during the election.
it found you.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, someone through Twitter, someone through YouTube. I found through TikTok and YouTube recommended. So yeah, it's a pretty strong algorithm. I'd be interested to see what the because I would assume I don't use TikTok. I try and stay away from anything that's addictive because otherwise you. I try and I
Yeah, I
hate
get it.
shorts because they suck me in. So I've like there's a wee thing now that you can say show fewer shorts, which
Yes.
I
Yep. Yep.
needed
Yep.
that for the longest time because I'd be like, oh, this is interesting because it's just like a
Yeah.
flick, not a flick away, flick to the next one feature, or it got
Mm.
its teeth in me. But
Yeah.
something about TikTok I was going to say. Yep, there was a
Yeah. I
thought
mean,
there.
to be fair, I went down many TikTok rabbit holes. I went through times where I was spending a lot. I don't anymore. I think like I just kind of went through a period of uni where I was just too busy, and honestly, I was watching BHN anyway, so it's like that's like an hour to an hour and a half. That's enough. But I mean, there was also a period of time where that's where a lot of my news came from. Like I think the Loafers Lodge fire here in Wellington that happened. Oh God, I think it was like a couple years ago now. I first found out about that through TikTok. Just open
Mm.
it up on the toilet. Oh shit, like that was my newspaper in the morning. I'd
Yeah.
open up TikTok and I'd be like, it was very news oriented. So
Mm. Yeah.
it's
It'd
definitely going to
be.
have a lot of impact on like you know a lot of people's businesses. Like
Yeah.
there's a reason it was popular or is popular.
Mm. Um. And then there's a wee bit about advertisers, which meh, meh, meh. The impact on us, though. So, the far reaching effects of the app and service bans. Billions of people around the world rely on connectivity and opportunity that an open internet enables. The more countries block or ban specific apps and services, the less the internet can deliver on that promise. Instead, people's experiences online, connecting with friends, learning, creating, earning income, and enjoying entertainment, will become increasingly insular and inconsistent from country to country. Um,
Mm.
that's what I was going to say. How I would say majority of the content that I receive on most platforms is from America. Do you reckon?
I think mine's not. I would say mine's definitely a bit more mixed. Like I'd say when I'm on TikTok, I'd say my algorithms, I'd say definitely got a decent chunk, American content. Because when you just think about the sheer amount of people that are making stuff about things that I'm interested in, does make sense. But I
Mm,
also follow a lot of people more from like Europe, that kind of area. I also get a lot of, I think to be fair, actually, if it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't have kept up to date with a lot of like indigenous news. So like the stuff with the Kanaki people in
mm,
New Caledonia, like, even stuff around like when everything in Gaza started like happening in Palestine, like TikTok for me was where I was finding a lot more reliable information. I was one of those people who were watching TikToks of people in Palestine, showing their actual everyday lives. Like, I don't know if you heard about it, but there was this young content creator from Palestine, and like, unfortunately, he died. And, like,
mm,
it was quite difficult when, you're sitting there watching these people go through these horrible things, but you're also like, I can't look away because that's a privilege. I have
mm,
to actually know that, these are real people. I watched this cute little Palestinian girl who does cooking videos
mm,
using what little resources she has available just to also probably bring some like happiness to her own life,
mm,
as well with everything that's going on. Like, there's a lot that's bad about TikTok, don't get me wrong, but there's also a lot that has helped in terms of getting certain pieces of information to places they may not have gotten before
Hmm.
about things that are really important.
Hmm.
So, like, it's one of those things where, yes, it's got a lot of bad things, but I also think a lot of people wouldn't know about a lot of things if it wasn't for TikTok. So,
I suppose
we
social
have to at
media
least
as a whole
acknowledge
as
that.
well, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. We don't have to love them as a whole, but we can
Hmm.
acknowledge the positive aspects that they, can have, and the like positive tools they can be
Yeah.
if we don't keep abusing them.
Hmm. I'll read this last wee bit. So, millions of people and businesses rely on the app. In US alone, a TikTok commission study by Oxford Economics found the app contributed more than 24 billion and 200,000 billion dollars and 200,000 jobs to the economy in 2023. So, I mean, taxes alone is
Yeah,
that's kind of good.
that's and I mean, that's the thing, that's mad money. That is a lot,
That
and I
is a
mean, think
lot.
about it, like, it makes
That
sense.
is
I'm
4
sure.
billion more than our education budget. Fun fact.
Oh, no. God, imagine if they put all their money into that, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes. I mean, I'm also like, I do actually worry a little bit because I know there are a lot of New Zealanders who have definitely benefited from the ability to kind of, that, like you said, like the algorithm is really good on TikTok. That is one reason why I actually kind of stayed
Mm.
on it this whole time, is because Instagram Reel algorithm, not that good, really. Like, it's okay. It's not that bad. Uh, the YouTube, whatever it is, I don't even bother counting that. Doesn't count. Um, but yeah, TikTok's quite good, and so yeah, it's been interesting, but I guess the real thing will happen is when it actually comes into effect, because yeah, there's been a lot of New Zealanders who have definitely gotten some pretty good boost
Mm.
through the platform, and
Mm.
hopefully it
This,
doesn't affect them too much.
yeah. Citizen
And
says
yeah,
if it wasn't TikTok, it would be some other app that fills the gap. If TikTok went away, it would take weeks for the majority of people to have moved on to something else and forgotten about it. Exactly, and that's something. At the end of the article, it said it's a dangerous game of whack a mole. Like you can try
mm,
and get rid of one and the next, and something else will pop up. And it like people are already saying that they're going to move to. I think one's called Lemonade, which I think is actually kind of genius. Chinese owned, and then there was another one as well. They're currently at the
Red
top
Book.
of
Was
possibly
that Red Book one?
could
I've
be.
heard about, yeah, Red Book's one of the ones
Oh
that
yeah.
I've heard about. Um, but yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I saw a comment. Yeah, this one here. I think that's another thing, is that there is actually
Mm,
quite a good community building aspect to, for all of the, it sucks away attention and it can be a brain rot, blah, blah, blah. There
mm.
is also a lot of community building that it can kind of allow for, like, I don't know, BHN
Yeah, but that's
and things
that's on
like
any
that.
platform. I mean, Instagram you can build communities as well.
Yeah. But
YouTube
I
you can
don't
build
I didn't see
communities.
BHN on my Instagram algorithm
They-
or my Facebook algorithm.
yeah.
It was only TikTok. I didn't see, like Jordan Rivers on my Instagram algorithm.
Mm.
And that's what I said about the algorithm itself, is because the algorithm on TikTok, because they want to keep your attention and they actually, psychologically manipulate us.
Yeah.
But at least they gave me what I actually wanted, and not some horrible, like, I was lucky. I'm lucky. I didn't get some horrible stuff that was just making me feel bad about myself. Well, other than the government, but that's different. Like, there are definitely people who don't get that experience, but I definitely found it to be a lot more beneficial. Like, I don't go on Facebook anymore. I kind of go on Instagram, and I barely go on TikTok.
Yeah, no, I think I'm YouTube and YouTuber. Oh, and Blue Sky.
Oh
Plug
yeah,
out
I'm
plug
actually
out Blue
on there now.
Skies. But
That's
that's just because
mostly where I'm at.
I think the first one I really dove into was Twitter when it first came out. Um,
Mm.
oh, Tumblr actually, to be fair, I'm a Tumblr kid. But
Oh
I
no.
liked, I loved, I lo- I loved Tumblr, and actually I still have it up, and I go back through the archives, and I can see tons of art inspiration, and then also photos that I post. I did like one photo a day in 2013 and 14, and so I've got an
Oh,
entire
nice.
year's worth
That's
of
cool.
photos, and it's fun to go through them.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
I
And
miss
that's
that.
I
I
do
miss
like that about
Tumblr.
social media. Well, and that's the
Yeah,
thing is, like, that's why I'll never delete my Facebook because, I like seeing, most of my Facebook memories. Like,
yeah.
especially, the cute ones with your friends,
My favorite thing
not
is
the
when
cringy ones.
you get the Facebook memories that come up, and then people share their Facebook memory that came up, and then people think it's the first time they've ever seen it, and then they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, I didn't know you started a new job," and then they're like,
Yeah, I have seen
this is from
before,
6 years
yeah.
ago," and they're like, "Oh," like,
Oh, I see. Move along. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've almost done that myself, to be honest. I've seen the odd post, and I've been like, wait, and I was about to comment something, and I'm like, oh wait, hang on, this is a memory.
Yeah.
Trying
I
to
think
fool me.
most of the ones I share, you can tell they're old, They're
Yeah.
the topic is very, nostalgic usually.
Well, I haven't had mine long enough to. I think I got
Uh,
rid of mine and then restarted it, which I'm gutted that I did because I think I lost a few photos and things. But um,
I
I'm
think
also kind of glad that I did because my pre-uni era was cringe, as was anyone as a
well, that's what I mean about
preteen
mine is I've been
teen.
on I've I made my first Facebook account 18 years ago.
Yeah, sounds about right.
My Facebook account could be a whole, like, adult.
Hang on, I'm trying to figure out mine. My Tumblr must be at least 15 years old.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
about
not
right.
to use it anymore, but that's probably the
Yeah.
account that's of the most, that has the longest living time. Anytime.
Mm,
Anyways, anytime, anyways. Yeah, so TikTok could be disappearing from the US market, which could have an impact on us. I wouldn't be surprised if it does because I would say the majority of people probably follow a good number of American
yeah.
creators, and if they're not posting on that platform, people will turn to other platforms where they are posting. They'll either follow them or no, they probably would. There'd be a good number of people
Yeah.
that'll follow
I
them to
mean,
the
like,
next
I know
chat.
that there's been some people who are like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna take this as maybe some incentive to get off TikTok and touch grass or something." I don't know. So, like, I think there are definitely some young people who are like, "Oh, you know what? Maybe this is the sign. 2025. This is the year
Or
that I do something different."
the other possibility is that it actually boosts local content creators because it replaces those in the American market, which could be a
That
really
would be
good.
cool.
That would be a really good positive for us.
I mean, I would love that to happen,